Welcome back to Exploring the North Shore. Martha, you're back.
I am back. And it's cold out right now. We're in the shade.
Oh, we should move this up.
Yeah. See? So much warmer.
See the lovely sound effects of your snowshoes.
Yes.
So this episode is all about snowshoeing. We're gonna start by going snowshoeing. For this particular segment, we are using my snowshoes. So we're not renting them. I happen to have them.
I think I'm investing in a pair.
So Martha, have you ever been snowshoeing before?
I have not.
All right.
Not once, ever.
Spoiler alert, I knew the answer to that question. But we are going to go. So we are here on the Gunflint Trail. We are at Honeymoon Bluff Hiking Trail, which is located. So if you're heading up the Gunflint Trail, it's about midway up. If you see the sign for Clearwater Lodge, swing a right, go a couple miles down that road. It's right in between like Flower Lake, Clearwater Lake, and then we're actually going to see Hungry Jack Lake as we head up on the trail. So Honeymoon Bluff is a pretty easy hike. It gets a lot of snow in the winter. So if it hasn't been walked on after a more recent snowfall, you're definitely gonna want snowshoes. And it did recently snow, and it doesn't look like it's been walked on too much. So we are gonna strap on the snowshoes and go on a little snowshoeing adventure.
It should be fun. It's a good day for it.
I got this.
Tightening them on. You don't want loose snowshoes?
No, not
You don't want to lose them in the snow?
So a few tips and tricks. Make sure your snowshoes are on nice and tight. Hold on. Yeah, you want to make sure your snowshoes are nice and tight because you don't want them coming off when you step into something deep. Also, you kind of want to walk, like when you're walking on snowshoes, you almost want to lean back.
Not too far back.
Not too far. Martha just falls down. So kind of walk on your heels more than on your toes. Because if the front of the snowshoe goes in first, the rest of you is going to go in with it. But if you're back a little ways, you can almost kind of hold yourself upright if we hit deep snow. We have on the ground probably 4 to 5 feet back here, but it's been it has been walked on between snowfalls, so I don't think we're going to be walking on 4 to 5 feet of snow. It's 425, not 45, by the way. So we have our snowshoes on. We're here at Honeymoon Bluff. Let's go for a snowshoe hike.
Do you want me to go first?
Sure. This podcast episode is sponsored by Cascade Vacation Rentals. They know that life has a tendency to be overwhelming at times, and busy schedules often leave people feeling overwhelmed and disconnected. That's why they're here, to offer you the space and opportunity to reconnect to what's important. Cascade Vacation Rentals has one of the largest selections of privately owned vacation rental homes and cabins on Minnesota's North Shore of Lake Superior, from Duluth to the Canadian border. Their team is there to help you and your family or small group enjoy a vacation you'll remember for years to come. Visit them online at www.cascadevacationrentals.com. And don't forget to use promo code PODCAST for the largest % off discount available at any given time. Again, that's www.cascadevacationrentals.com.
So far, so good. Ooh. Did you get that? It's a little rough. Could definitely use poles. You could utilize them on this. It's a good leg workout right there.
Woo! So in the summertime, that's a staircase.
Oh, that would make sense. Holy moly.
Okay, you dig in. Kind of duck walk up.
My legs are tired.
We're only like a quarter.
They sure know how to start you. Oh, I need to catch my breath too. Just for a sec.
Oh, my watch just informed me that we're in Canada.
All right.
We're not in Canada.
You can hold this for a sec.
Holy cow. All right, so Honeymoon Bluff. I forget how that's basically vertical. And
Yeah,
the
I don't
stairs.
trust myself walking down these.
Well, we're gonna go down on our butts. That was
Yeah.
kind of the plan. That's why I brought you here.
I don't see that going well. That'd be like that video. It's like God, what is it? People running down the hill and they all start running and then they're all just like pinwheeling over each other. That's where that would happen.
Whew. A few quick warnings about Honeymoon Bluff. Besides being almost vertical to get to the part we're at right now, we're at the top of the loop, bottom of the loop, beginning of the loop. I don't know how you want to word that, but if you go to the left, it wraps around eventually to what you see on your right. So it is a loop. It is really nice. There are a few parts that are like, we're on a bluff. Don't walk too close to the edge, especially in the winter. You don't know when you're going to hit like a loose snowbank and ice. But trust me, it is worth it. Yeah. Do you have your breath?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay. Martha did say on the way up here it would be nice to have poles. We do not have poles. You don't need poles to go snowshoeing, but perhaps if you're going to encounter a very steep incline, it would help. So another thing you can do is kind of turn your feet like this. So you can't see this on the recording, obviously, but I've kind of pointed my toes outward, and then you kind of duck waddle up the hill. It's not graceful. Snowshoeing is not necessarily a beautiful activity, but it's fun. And it allows you to continue hiking even in the winter months, even after snow falls, and just kind of enjoy being outside in the winter. Whew. It's the sun. Okay, so if you look straight ahead, we're now kind of in the, if you're familiar with Honeymoon Bluff, it's kind of funny to me. I can tell how high the snow is because usually the power lines are not this close to the ground. But there's these bluffs over here. It's just gorgeous up here. I love this hike.
In the fall.
Yeah.
That'd be beautiful.
It's okay, Martha. You got this. Okay. Woo. So now we're about halfway through the loop. We are deep in the woods and there's snow just clinging to all of these trees. Like,
it's beautiful. It's like the best part of winter. It's just how it looks. Especially after it's just snowed. I love the way it all looks.
It is gorgeous back here. It's actually pretty warm too. It's about 20. I have 21 on my phone, so it's 21 degrees, which is pretty warm when you're bundled up and physically moving around. This has been too challenging. Martha tripped a couple times, so you didn't fall.
I have not fallen yet.
But yeah.
This is going just as good as the ice skating.
You can kind of hear, I don't know if this is picking it up in the recording, but in the background, I can hear some snowmobiles. So there is snowmobiling in certain parts of the Gunflint Trail area. Obviously, you can't snowmobile once you're in the Boundary Waters, but we're not quite in the Boundary Waters here. We are still on non-Boundary Waters land. So we're able to drive in, park right at the trailhead, walk in, hike up, and now here we are in this. It's so pretty here. Here, hold this. I'm gonna take some pictures.
A little winter wonderland.
It's cool because you you can't really enjoy this scene without putting on snowshoes and hiking out here. So this is why snowshoeing is popular and fun.
Just want to like shake the trees, let all the snow fall.
And yeah, I got a notification from my phone that we are now in Canada, but that just means
we're close.
We're close.
Super close. It's so peaceful in here. It's nice. Oh, this part looks really cool. I like when the snow kind of like,
it's like
envelops the trail. It's like a little tree fort.
Oh, it's fun. Oh yeah, we can like live under. It's really warm in here too. It's like insulated. All right, Martha, we've hit the overlook, so that's Hungry Jack Lake. Well, actually, if you go, let's keep going because it gets really pretty up top too. One time I came here and I just sat here for like 20 minutes on a rock and nobody else was here. It was in October. So pretty. Ooh, it's pretty. Lots of snowmobilers out.
Oh yeah. It's a good day for all outdoor activities.
Good day for a good day. Do you hear the birds?
Yes, I do.
Oh, it's those ones who keep hitting with their car on the way up. I feel like, see, it wraps around right there at that point too. So is this an island or is it an inlet separating two different lakes? It's really hard to tell.
Might be an inlet. I can't tell. The trees are in my way.
Darn trees, what are you doing here? I want to record you going down.
Going down what?
The hill.
Okay.
Right here. That's the rock I sat on. I just sat right there and I'm like, I'm just gonna stay here until more people show up. And then you know what came?
What?
A dog. Like a little puppy dog comes running up and I'm like, oh. Like, do you have people you're with? Because you're just by yourself. For like a split second I thought a dog just adopted me, but he had owners. They were like right behind him. Like, oh, I didn't realize anybody else was here. And then they informed me I left the lights on in my car, so I had to leave.
Good job.
And there is the end of the loop. We did the loop.
Let's go, yeah. Like short and sweet.
Yeah. Now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna give you this to go down with.
I'm gonna take these off first. Oh, why is this so hard? I give up.
Just shimmy down.
I can't! Not with these on! It's not possible. There we go, I got one. My butt's gonna be really cold after this.
Okay, we're getting in the car.
Yes. Oh, my butt's already so cold. I wish I had a sled.
I think it'd be too much.
Oh my god, that was so fun! My butt is very much numb. You got it.
I'm gonna try it with, you're right, it's better to take them off.
Told ya! I told you! Alright, she's getting off her snowshoes.
This is actually really fun.
Yeah, once you hit that spot right there. It's like a little slide.
That's so much fun. Oh, I didn't get it!
Go back.
Yeah.
You gotta go back.
Hold on. I forgot to hit the record button.
Take two.
Fine. Okay. Now it's time to go down. Here we go. Building up speed.
That was good. That was a good one.
It was so much fun.
Ooh, I almost just fell.
They don't fall. You're not. See, now you see how nice snowshoes are.
They are.
It's much more challenging if I twist your feet.
Ooh, I'm pretty sure my butt is completely numb. I don't think I can feel my butt cheeks.
Well, then you can't feel how cold it is, so you're okay.
Yeah, I guess that's the road we could take with that.
It's nature's way of making it so you can handle the cold.
Well, thanks.
Nature. Okay, we're being joined by someone else, so let's wrap it up real quick. We are now back at the parking lot area. There's somebody else pulling up. Hello. Enjoying the great hike ahead of them, but oh my
God.
As I'm like dusting off the dead cat,
It
Martha
got
fell
some
into a
snow.
hole.
I did.
How'd you feel? How do you enjoy this?
I love snowshoeing. That was really enjoyable. It was a nice first time snowshoeing, for sure.
So we did go on a public trail with our own snowshoes, but you can also go onto like state parks, and there's a couple like rivers you can walk up in the winter if they're frozen. It depends on the weather, of course, but you can rent snowshoes from several of the state parks. I'll actually come back. We'll do like a more formal outro here and give you a list of some of the different places you can rent or get snowshoes from. And don't forget about our friends at Stone Harbor Wilderness Supply, because they have some really fun snowshoe hikes, including a river snowshoe hike, like I mentioned, and just different things you can do. And what's cool is in the winter, the waterfalls freeze, so you can hike right up to them.
Yeah, you can.
That's pretty fun.
That would be pretty cool.
So, different ideas for things you could do and how you can enjoy snowshoeing. You can also just strap snowshoes on and walk around your yard, because it's kind of fun to be on top of the snow like that.
It is. It is.
So.
It really is.
We also shook some trees.
Yes, I'm covered in snow.
So look out for the video.
Plastered in it.
The companion video for this episode will have Martha shaking some trees, us going down the staircase on the trail on our butts, which was a lot of fun.
That was.
We should do a sledding episode. I have not gone sledding
I have 2 sleds.
in like 7-8 years, I would guess.
Yeah, we should go sledding.
Okay. A couple weeks.
It's been decided.
There we go. Sledding is coming up. So this has been the snowshoeing portion, and like I said, we'll come back with a more formal outro in a little bit. Exploring the North Shore is sponsored by The Big Lake. The Big Lake is an approachable art gallery and gift shop located in the beautiful harbor town of Grand Marais, Minnesota, as well as online at thebigLakeLife.com. The Big Lake provides a beautifully curated and fun shopping experience to complement your North Shore adventures with artists and products that reflect the culture, values, allure, and lifestyle of the North Shore. Shop online at www.thebigLakeLife.com and use promo code EXPLORE for 15% off your first online order. Hello everyone, I'm back after our snowshoeing adventure on Honeymoon Bluff. Martha had to run off, but I wanted to come back really quick to wrap up this part of the episode, because before we had kind of teased that there are a few state parks in the area that you can rent snowshoes from. So I went back at the office here, I looked it up and confirmed that you can rent snowshoes for $6 a day at the following state parks in the area. So Cascade River State Park, that is of course in between Lutzen and Grand Marais. Jay Cook State Park, which is by Duluth. Split Rock Lighthouse State Park, so that's between like Beaver Bay and Two Harbors. And then Tetegooch State Park, which is just outside of Silver Bay. So if you go into any of those state parks during the regular business hours, which is usually like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the winter, and it varies, so be sure you look this up online before you go. You can rent snowshoes for just $6 a day. The state parks are also a great place to go and do snowshoeing because there are marked and clearly marked and easy to follow trails. Even if they're not groomed and maintained in the winter, you could still walk around them without getting lost. So you don't have to worry about, finding a path to go somewhere. They're very clearly marked. You're within a state park, and it's a fun place to hike. We teased before that if you go after a really good cold snap, you can sometimes even go right up to waterfalls, depending on the state park and where you're at. So check that out. I know Tetegooch State Park has a really great naturalist program, and their naturalist guy is really into snowshoeing and these outdoor wintertime things. So check them out, see if you could track him down, see if there's any scheduled activities. There are events that go on at the different state parks. For instance, on the 22nd of February, there is a snowshoe hike up the Baptism River at Tetegooch State Park. So if you want to do that, go right up to a waterfall at Tetegooch. Find out more information about that at the DNR State Park website. Other places that you can go, pretty much anywhere along the Superior Hiking Trail would be a really nice place to go snowshoeing. Again, they're very clear trails, they're marked. A fun one I think that would be really interesting to do during the winter and go snowshoeing is the hike to Ely's Peak Tunnel. There's an article about that on the Exploring the North Shore website. So go to exploringnorthshore.com and then look at the Explorer Guide for the Ely Tunnel article. I marked out where that trail is, so the best place to park and how to get there. And, the pictures are from the fall, so it might be a little bit different looking in the winter, but you could still get the general idea. I think that'd be a pretty fun and easy hike. There is a bit of a staircase, so there will be a bit of a vertical climb, like there was on the Honeymoon Bluff Trail. But again, really fun, and it takes you to the tunnel, which is really interesting. So again, check out the DNR website. Check out the map of Superior Hiking Trail for the different places. There's tons of articles you can find online about snowshoeing, and just grab those snowshoes, either rent them or buy a pair and head out and have fun. It is a really fun way to enjoy the North Shore during the winter. So the second half of this episode is going to be an interview I did with a couple of Instagrammers who are really active up on the North Shore here. In fact, one of them, Ashley Bredemus, lives on the end of the Gunflint Trail. So if you really like the outdoor adventure feel and you want to follow some Instagrams that are really kind of focused on that, you definitely want to check out Ashley's Instagram. And then we also interviewed Emily and Jordan, and theirs are also very heavy on this outdoor adventure idea. So check them out. There will be the links in the show notes. I just want to make a quick disclaimer about the following audio you're about to hear. It was recorded in a very large room, and there were 4 of us kind of gathered around it. There was a fire going in the fireplace because it was pretty chilly that night. And there's a few other background noises that I tried to kind of muffle, but I didn't do the greatest job. So I do apologize. There is some issues with the audio in this interview, but there's a lot of really good information. So if you're interested, listen. Also, we do tend to talk over each other a lot. And that's, I think, just what happens when you get 4 people in a room together chatting about something they really love. So, you've been warned, it's not the best audio, but really good content, so I hope you listen. So for Exploring the North Shore with Jay and Martha, this is Jay, and here is the interview with Ashley, Jordan, and Emily. All right, so I'm back for part 2 of the podcast, and for part 2, we're going to be sitting down with 3 lovely ladies who are familiar with the North Shore, and maybe you even know their names. So let's go around and introduce yourselves.
Yes. Okay, I'm Ashley Bredemus. I live at the very end of the Gunflint Trail in a little remote cabin called the Pepper Shack, and I write about it. I've got a blog called An Outdoor Experience, and when I'm not writing that, I've got a summer camp that I run called Birchwood Wilderness Camp. That's me.
Awesome. Hello guys, I'm Emily Theisen. I currently live in Brainerd with this wonderful woman, Jordan Mileski.
That's me.
We are both kind of speaking for you, but we're both photographers, graphic designers, and these ladies are my best friends. So.
Yeah,
so I'm Jordan Mileski, as you already know, and I do a lot of branding and design work with various companies, mostly throughout Minnesota. And Emily and I, of course, and Ashley as well, we're all sort of doing photography together, so we end up working with a lot of the same companies, which is super fun.
Yes.
And I think we've kind of all become close friends, and now that's sort of being apparent to other people, and it's starting to just really snowball into some fun stuff that we're doing.
It's all interconnected. Like Jordan did the branding for my wilderness camp, and it's just all.
Yeah, I was doing actually some. I just recently started working with Lake Time magazine, and I was doing Ashley's spread for. Her, what was it? Just a piece in the magazine.
Yeah, just the feature article.
Yeah, just a feature article for Ashley. So I'm sitting here oh my God, Jordan just put together her design. And I'm sitting here designing her layout for the magazine spread.
Yeah,
and,
it's such a small world. We all work together in so many different ways.
Yeah. So Ashley, you live on the Gunflint Trail.
Yes.
How did you guys all meet? How do you know each other?
Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think originally we all started following each other, and then I ended up doing your branding for the camp. At the same time, Ashley, you were being featured in Lake Time, and Emily was working on the spread. I think that is kind of what brought the 3 of us more together than
tied us together.
Yeah, because then at some point we were like, well, heck, we gotta meet,
Yeah. Well, you and I went on that adventure in the truck up to Mount Sophie.
Oh my gosh.
And then you and I met in Grand Marais and had coffee.
Yes.
And then you guys both came up to the cabin for a weekend, and now we're here.
Yeah.
So
all
that's
right.
kind of it. Yeah.
That's exciting. Okay, really quick, say your Instagram handles so that people can find you.
Oh, sure. Yeah, okay. Mine is Ashley Bredemus. Oof, that last name, right? Okay, so that's Ashley Bredemus. It's a tough one.
And it's the, I'm going to say, I'm air quoting here, the normal spelling of Ashley.
Yes, yeah. No,
Yes.
you got it, thank you.
The more common, I should say, spelling of Ashley.
Yep, with a Y.
Mine's also, my last name is also a little difficult, but mine is at Emily Theisen _ Theisen is TheIsen.
Okay, mine is at Jordan, the boy way, Jordan.
The boy way.
Period, Mileski, which is Mileski.
All right. And then, so, do you still work for Lifetime Magazine?
Yes, I do. I just started working with them a few weeks ago, actually. So,
All right.
yeah.
And what are you photography or more stuff?
A little bit of everything. I've kind of been doing some logo design work for stuff. I've been doing photography work as well as magazine spread design layouts for them. So kind of a little bit of everything. Yeah. It's been really great. They're a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
They're a bunch of awesome, amazing women. So
They're out
it's
of
fun.
Grand Rapids.
Yes, they're out of Grand
I was
Rapids.
going to ask the next question.
Yes.
Like, where are they located?
Yeah,
I never
they
knew
are.
that.
They're in Grand Rapids. Yep.
All right.
Which is funny, another thing that ties us. That's my hometown, and now you work
that's
there.
true.
It's just a small world.
It is.
Where are you guys from originally?
I moved to
Grand
Grand Rapids.
You just
yeah.
It's actually
Got
from
you.
Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids.
Yeah, I'm actually from Brainerd. Like, my family moved there when I was young. And then Emily, you're not from there, but she's now living with me as a roommate.
Yep, I've probably been renting from Jordan for probably 9 to 10 months, maybe. I moved in there last April or something like that.
Where were you from? Tell them.
Well, okay, so I grew up in the cities. I actually graduated from Champlain Park High School, which is Anoka, Ramsey area, north of the Twin Cities. And then before I lived in Brainerd, I was actually traveling in the van for a year.
Oh.
So that was a really fun time of my life. We just kind of were hippieing it out, and me and my ex were just traveling around everywhere. So
Where did you go?
Anywhere from here west.
Where was your favorite, though? I know that's a tough question. I don't know if I've ever asked it, but...
We spent a lot of time in the West Coast, like California and Oregon, and that was probably my favorite.
It's like
Utah
northern
was
part of California.
Yeah, totally. Like we went to the mountains, like Mammoth, and a lot of people always like to ask what was our favorite place, but I think it was the people that brought the memories into the certain places that I went into. So it was kind of, because you meet so many other van lifers, but it's like, so it's really cool. But yeah.
Cool. And then, Ashley, what brought you to the end of the Gunflint Trail to the summer camp life?
That's a loaded question. That's a loaded question. Well, I was working as an engineer in Florida. First Alabama, and then Florida for a total of 4 years, almost 5 years. And I had just the South is not for me. The folks that I met there, the folks I worked for there, were just as sweet tea can be, but. So in the span of a week, my dad called me and he was like, look, I'm having this super high blood pressure, which I'm down to one parent. So any health issues, it's whoa, panic. And then I got a notice under my door that said the folks that I was renting from want to sell the unit. And so I need to be out in 30 days.
Oh, no.
And I was like, this is an opportunity, I think.
It's a sign.
It's a sign to do something different. And so I went up to the summer camp that's been in my family since 68 to just kind of stay there for a few weeks, regroup, think about what I wanted to do. And my dad said, hey, why don't you come spend the winter with me? And I was like, but Dad, I have a job. I can't. He's like, well, why don't you quit your job? And he said, this is what got me. He said, if my dad would have offered to spend a winter with me, that would have meant the world to me. I was like, Dad, you got me. You got me. So I went and I quit my job in Florida, and I packed everything up into a couple of Duluth packs and drove north to the wilderness camp. And I just intended to stay there for one winter. But it, as you know, it just grabs a hold of you, right?
Yes.
And my uncle was looking to sell our boys' camp, which is where I was living. We have a girls' camp near Bemidji called Camp Birchwood for girls, but he was looking to sell the the boys' camp. And my dad and I hatched this harebrained plan to buy the boys' camp. And so at the time we had a house in Grand Rapids. We decided to sell that, which was, that was the house I grew up in, the house that my dad built. So we sold all of that and put it all into the camp, and this will be our first summer as the owners. So
wow. I didn't know it was your first summer.
It's our first summer. So we're in it for the long haul. This is where I'm at now.
Okay, well, I know a lot of people, I mean, this is how I prefer to vacation, because I'm a terrible parent. But if I can, I love to like drop my kids off to do something really fun and then go on an adventure.
Totally.
Air quote, grown-up adventure.
Yeah.
So if anybody listening wants to go on a Boundary Waters grown-up adventure, a good place to drop their kids off as a boy would be Birchwood. So tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so Birchwood is when they're in camp just during the weekends, traditional like archery, riflery, waterfront sort of thing. And then during the week, they're on paddle trips out in the Boundary Waters. So 3-day, 4-day, or 5-day trips. Boys can come for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, and it's just like magical Boundary Waters.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, what a magical time.
And also, who wouldn't want their kids
Unplug.
to have that experience?
Yes.
I think it's so important that kids like go do this away from their parents, and I know that can be so hard. I get moms calling me all the time saying I can't let go of my boy for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I was talking to a mom the other day who has sent her son to camp before, and she said, my kid went to camp a boy and he came back a man.
Oh, doesn't that just make you
It
have
does.
all the feels?
It just like makes everything so worth it, like everything that we do, because that's when my grandfather started the camp in '68. Like that's what his mission was. So it's super cool to hear that and to be running that now. And then we also are running some yoga retreats at the end of August, which is super cool. I really want to get women into the Boundary Waters, because I think they can be super empowering. Last summer I led our girls camp on a trip, and that was girls ages 7 to 17. And they came out of the Boundary Waters just so impressed with themselves and so confident, like they could portage a canoe. And I just want to like give that to more women. But
Okay, you're never gonna plug this on your own, but like for the podcast, you have to answer, how fast did your first retreat sell out?
It's so funny you said that.
Oh my
because
gosh.
I was about to say, is that the retreat that sold out in blank minutes? But I'll let
Nine minutes. So I have to plug Boreal Bliss yoga retreats, because they're the ones that are like leading the retreat, and we're just hosting. We're just providing like the beautiful Boundary Waters venue, but it sold out in 9 minutes. So I think
insane.
we need to do more of
I
them.
saw your post saying it just sold out, or your Instagram. I think it was a video, right?
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
like,
it was.
I just sold out in 9 minutes. Like I didn't even know it was happening.
Right?
So you have to do more.
I know, that's the plan. We've got plans to build a big yoga deck and do it. I really want to.
So if you're coming up and you have, let's say, what's the age range?
7 to 17.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. I have a 7-year-old.
There you go.
He's an unfortunate middle of the summer birthday, so he turned 7 on July 15th.
Sure.
So he's a really young 7,
Yeah.
but definitely something to consider for next year.
Anytime. Oh my gosh.
Because if you have like 2 boys, let's say like a 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and you want to do, I would do like a 3-week Boundary Waters trip where you drop your kids off at the camp for the first 2.
How heavenly.
And you and your husband or whatever go off and do your thing, and then you come back together as a family for a week.
That's so perfect.
Oh my gosh, I love that idea. Yeah.
Even like some of our other families that maybe aren't so geared towards paddle trips, just going to Gunflint Lodge or Poplar House or Hungry Jack or Bearskin, like just go and stay at one of the resorts and do day trips and fish and like just enjoy life up here disconnected. It's a great option for parents.
And that's what's great about those lodges too, is you can just call them and be like, we're going to stay for a week.
Yes.
What can we do? And they will be like, well, let me tell you, you can do this, you can do that. And they can help you plan your trip.
Yeah, here's the laundry list of like a million things you can do. Yeah, it's the best.
I was just back there today, earlier in this
you were.
episode you heard us snowshoeing. I think first I'm like, what were we doing?
Yeah.
Honestly, mostly goofing around, but we were snowshoeing up on kind of by, well, that overlooks Hungry Jack, but the actual lake nearby is Flower Lake when you first
Yeah,
pull
you're
in,
right.
so.
Yep. Yeah, Honeymoon. Did you say Honeymoon Bluff? That's where you're at? Yeah, that's right.
I always get, there's a lot of lakes. You go up there, you can see like 3 lakes. I'm like, I know what that one is, and I know what that one is, but I have no idea what that one is. That's what I love about it back there.
I know.
So what is your favorite lake?
Romance Lake.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where I got So Romance Lake is kind of like our little hidden gem. You can only access it access it from our property, so it's like really secluded. But other than that, I would say Rose Lake. That I feel like a lot of people think that's the best lake ever.
Yeah.
And it is for good reason. Like, it's a really gorgeous lake, but you have to endure stairway portage to get to it.
Yes. We did a day trip into Rose Lake.
Yeah.
Kind of an example of what you can do on the Boundary Waters in a day for the podcast way early on. And we actually just left the canoe on Duncan and like walked. I'm not going to portage this. We don't need to go out on the lake. We just need to get to the lake.
Right.
So
Absolutely. Yeah, Rose is gorgeous.
What about you two? Do you have a favorite?
Favorite lake?
It can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be here
It's
either.
like, I don't even know the name of it. I don't know. I have no idea.
They've got future Boundary Waters adventures ahead of them.
So many.
Yeah.
I've done Boundary Waters trips before. I actually did a winter camping trip. My senior year in high school, and that was a lot of fun. We saw Northern Lights, stars were out. Like, it was just gorgeous, and that was fun. But I just don't remember the names of the lakes, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if mine's not really in the Boundary Waters. It's also my least favorite lake.
it's your favorite, but
It's a love-hate thing. I love Bean and Bear Lake.
Oh yeah.
Bean and Bear. Like, and I love it because it's scenic and no matter what time of year it's beautiful. But I hate it because getting to it is an absolute nightmare most of the time.
You just
It's very muddy.
just now described my entire childhood. To Bean and Bear Lake, there was part of this pure hiking trail ran right in my backyard. So we would go on there and you would
Sure. Well, that's amazing.
Bear.
So what's your favorite lake?
Okay, well, actually, fun story. So, when I was 12, I don't know, it was like some sort of essay or something I wrote that talked about like where you want to be when you're retired. Like, write it now when you're 12 and see what happens when you get older. Cool. And for some reason, 12-year-old me really wanted to retire on Poplar. I don't know why.
It's not a bad spot to retire.
I know. So, actually, let me see. This episode is going to air on the 18th, which is a little premature to be talking about this because we don't close until the 21st. But on the 21st of February, we're closing on a lot on
you're kidding me.
Can I get a high five?
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Congratulations.
That just happened. Like, we literally went there on Friday last week.
Yeah.
Because we've been looking for property for my in-laws because they're going to come up and stay with us for like 3-4 months. They live in North Carolina now and they hate it in the summer.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, let me tell you about a nice place to come in the summer months.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And so we've been looking around and they're like, buy something for like really cheap and we'll either fix it up or buy land and we'll build something because they're big investment people.
Yes.
So
Perfect.
we lost one property and when we lost it, I was like, I feel like this is a sign. Like, we bid on it and somebody else bid on it and they were higher, so they got it. I mean, that's a sign. It's not meant to be.
Yeah.
So then we looked at a couple more places and nothing really felt right. And then I found this random property that I'd seen probably a dozen times looking on like Zillow. I never really considered it. And then I took a closer look at it. I realized like this might actually be perfect. Like, in our heads, we were thinking we wanted like 10 acres.
Yeah. Right.
And this is only like 2 and 2.75.
Yeah.
Like, that's not enough land. But then like, well, let's go see how much land it really is. That's a lot of land.
It is. It actually really is.
Yeah.
My house is on 1.5 acres, but half of that land is Highway 61, so it's not real land. So in my head, it's smaller. But no, we went there and we looked at it. It's perfect. It's right next door to Rockwood Outfitters.
Oh, girl, you're gonna be sitting at Poplar House all the time eating dinner. Oh my gosh.
So we'll hang out. We'll get some canoes over at Rockwood.
You're gonna be so close to me.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for you. Oh,
we're
please.
just we're gonna actually hook up electric and internet so I can work from there.
Nice.
But we won't have any buildings or anything like that for probably another year because all this takes time up here.
It does take a lot of time.
They got the land.
Wow, congratulations.
So
That's so fun.
I'm gonna retire on Poplar.
Oh my gosh. And that's what you said when you were 12.
That's
amazing. What are the chances?
What are the chances that actually happens? Like, I mean, just keep the dreams and keep your goals.
Keep it going. We weren't even looking. It was just, we were looking for something in the right price range and the right location. Because we didn't want to be, I wanted to be on the Gunflint Trail, but I wanted to be like on the Gunflint Trail.
Sure. Because you wanted your address to be Gunflint Trail.
Yeah. And just then for in and out and getting the grandparents there, and then if the kids take the school bus up, it's easier for them to drop off on the trail. anyway, and all that, it just worked out that it wasn't down some twisty road. It wasn't. Another thing about some of those Gunflint Trail properties, especially on lakes, is they're really steep.
Yeah.
They drop into, and we've got little kids, so I didn't want this.
Yeah.
I wanted like land they could run around and play on.
Yes, for sure.
And that's it.
what you got.
Relatively flat, and we'll have a little dock on Poplar.
I'm so excited for you.
Cool. So, anyway,
That's amazing.
That's my long answer. Poplar, because I mean,
Poplar's so gorgeous.
It's kind of the best of both worlds, where you have access to the boundary waters right there off the lake. You know, heading into Liz and Swamp, and then it's also a motorized lake. So if you want to have a boat, if you want to have a pontoon, if you want to ride your snowmobile, you get everything. And if you want to get away from that, it's a really relatively short portage to where you can't have that anymore, and you can have the nice. It's
the best of both worlds. Yeah. That's exactly how it is where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's cool. Nice.
All right. Well, you ladies went skiing, snowboarding today at Lutsen. How was that?
It was amazing.
So much fun.
Epic.
I was telling these girls, like, it's been, a year, maybe more since I've been outboarding last. And I was like, I'm so excited that I'm actually just nervous. Like, you never really know how you're going to do it until you have that first run. And then, like, obviously, we all got really back into the, well, Ashley, you've been there.
Yeah, I have a season pass there, but just because I'm so close and I get the locals discount.
Yeah.
But,
But I feel like Ev and I, it's been a little while. You went boarding once.
I only went once this year, so.
Felt good to get out there.
Good workout.
Really good.
I feel it tomorrow.
And the sun came out. It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was.
we just like look like total goons on the hill, but I swear we are having the most fun of everybody.
Yeah, we were. We really were.
We really were.
We were a fun trio.
Well, nobody's bandaged or nobody appears to be broken.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Amazingly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Considering how clumsy I am, that's pretty great.
You too.
All right. Well, we've been talking with Ashley and Emily and Jordan.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies, so much for coming and staying. You guys are staying here at beautiful Aspenwood Townhomes, so check those out through Cascade Vacation Rentals, and check out Lutsen Mountains, of course, and then check out all the fun stuff we talked about today, including the Birchwood Camp for boys on the Gunflint Trail.
Peace.
All that and more, and check them out on Instagram. I'll have their links to their Instagram accounts on the show notes, so you can check that out and click and easily get there. But definitely, you guys are great to follow. I've actually had a lot of fun today. I was out of cell service for a while because up on Honeyman Bluff there's no cell service. But once I came back in, I was getting all these messages, and I'm like following along. This looks like so much fun.
Oh, good.
All our shenanigans.
Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you. I'm so glad we could be a part of your podcast. And
I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you in the future.
Of course.
you.
Yes. Most definitely.
Super fun.
From Jay and of course Martha, who is not here for this part, but she's here in spirit. This has been Exploring the North Shore, episode number 21 already. Cool. Come back in 2 weeks. I don't quite know what we're doing. Maybe we're gonna go sledding because we sort of said we would go sledding, and I said I hadn't done it in 8 years. So there might be a sledding episode in our future. Come back in 2 weeks and find out.